Always feel like I have to do another proper introduction when I press record. So, hi, if you're on the replay heroes, I see you. Thank you for being here. Also, people live in the room, thank you for being here. So, first up, let me share my screen and let's get straight into it. Here we go. Hang on a minute. Why can't I see my screen? There we are. Now, can you see the slideshow for the masterclass? Just nod if that's what you can see. Yes, brill. Okay, cool. Right. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to actually get promoted at work without selling out or burning out. And I'm going to just build on what we've already started, but stay till the end because there are prizes to be won, even for those of you who are replay heroes. So live in the room, prizes for you, but also those of us that are replay heroes as well. I see you. And yeah, wait till the end because there's prizes for you too. So today I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about who I am, why you should listen to me. We're going to do a quick recap on why visibility is the missing key and talk about the formula, which is what we spent time doing in the visibility sprint last week. And then I'm going to talk to you about how that fits in with my 6-step framework to actually position yourself for a pay rise or a promotion at work. And we're going to go through the 6 steps as part of that. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program that's the follow on from that. And then there's prizes at the end, including the one for the winner of the bingo competition, which of course was in the visibility sprint. So, a quick bit about me. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Tess. Nice to meet you. I'm a leadership consultant. I'm the founder of Light Me Up, and I teach people how to get promoted at work and become leaders who love what they do. And I strongly believe that a job should be fun, fulfilling, flexible, while also offering opportunities for growth, a decent paycheck, and security. And everybody thinks it's quite difficult to find that. But with my nearly 2 decades experience in the working world, I've condensed down everything that I've learned into a potent and powerful formula, which is going to help you create a working life that has all of those things. My vision is to create a new generation of heart-centered, spiritually curious leaders who love what they do. And I do that through holistic happiness. And I leverage the incredibly powerful combination of science, strategy, spiritual principles, and a little sprinkle of magic to help you take back control and redesign a working life that lights you up, hence the name of the business. So, why is visibility key? These are a few snapshots of what we've just seen happening in the visibility sprint, which we finished on Thursday last week. So, visibility is really powerful in its own way. So, basically, there is a formula to follow to do it most effectively. And actually, what we see happening is that when people are given this formula, they have the confidence to show up differently. And this is what's really, really important because not only does it, as you can see from some of the quotes here, from some of the changes that we've had through the sprint, not only does it enable great conversations with managers and colleagues that they'd never have before, and it gives kind of courage and confidence to do that, it also is really powerful energetically. So the black sort of screenshot in the middle is actually a client I've been working with who did the visibility sprint. And it was during the visibility sprint that she had 3 job offers. So what she thought she wanted was a pay rise or a promotion in her current role. She did the visibility sprint, did all the work, started showing up completely differently, and then attracted all sorts of other things. And visibility is so important because there is a strategic formula to follow. And again, a few more kind of comments here around it's helped me to understand what to say and how to say it without sounding like I'm boasting. I always contribute, but never talk about the things that I've been working on. I would have never have shared some of these things before, but it gave me the confidence to big myself up in a natural way that's led to my coaching approach being picked and as a way to support training plans and basically kind of senior level cases that that person never would have got otherwise. And yeah, it's major. It's amazing what it does. And I just wanted to do a really quick recap actually over what that strategic visibility formula is, because it's not just about being visible and being kind of present everywhere. That's absolutely not what this is. It's about being visible for the right work by the right people at the right time in the right way. And this looks like, I'm just going to do this really quickly. This looks like the right work, which is all about the high quality, high impact work. So these are things like projects or things that you're doing that directly impact the company's overall objectives. Or it's things that are related to the four R's. And the four R's are revenue. So obviously money, retention, which is all about people, risk, am I taking enough? Am I taking too much? And reputation, so what everybody else thinks of the brand and the business kind of thing. It's also about identifying and solving problems. It's not about things that make you a busy fool. And they are things like menial tasks that are repetitive and can be automated or delegated or outsourced. It's not about being present on email. It's not about being present on Slack and or whatever internal messenger system you're using. Nobody gets promoted for an inbox at zero. Nobody gets promoted for being present on Slack. Yes, it's important, but it's also important to kind of compartmentalize that and time box it. The right people is all about who the key decision makers are in your business, and at the right time is there a right sort of channel or team meeting that you can present at where all of the key decision makers are? There's usually kind of 3 to 5 of them, and what they'll probably be is your manager, and then probably the level above your manager, and then depending on the complexity of your business, it might be a few levels above that even. Basically, we want the right people to know about the amazing high quality, high impact work that we're doing, and we want to tell them in the right way. And this is the formula to follow. So when you do your update on Slack, or when you do your update to your manager, even, or if you've got the courage, if you feel like it, standing up in an appropriate kind of team or wider company meeting, this is what you need to talk about. You need to talk about what you did, update on the important stuff. Like I said, the high impact, high quality work. This is not your to-do list. It's not about justifying your job. And then you tell them why you did it. And this is all about laddering up to the objectives, like we just said, which shows leadership. It shows focus on the end goal. It shows that you're out of the detail. It shows that you are showing up like a leader. That's why you're doing this. Then we talk about what it drove. And this shows that we're testing the effectiveness of what we're doing. And then we talk about what we learned on the way and why it matters. And this shows that we want to share our learnings with others so that we can learn and grow together and use those learnings as the basis to create improvements. So in the case of when I was in the corporate world, I was in the marketing department, we were testing things all the time, we were iterating and getting better at them. So each time we did that, we wanted to share those learnings, not just with the marketing team, but with wider teams as well, because actually it impacted and changed what we learned sometimes about our customers or our product or what people resonated and engaged with. Then you want to look at kind of what's next for this test or this team or this project. And this is about, again, sharing for visibility with others in the team or company. And this is particularly useful when there are dependencies between the teams. And this shows that you're kind of thinking ahead. You're going to help people sort of plan and prioritize what's next for this test and or this team or this project, and if you need their support in doing this thing. And then lastly, another thing that's really, really good to include is a thank you. So recognition goes to XYZ person, team, company, whatever, for their contribution to this particular project or this us collectively achieving this goal kind of thing. And this is really important because it encourages a culture of recognition, which inspires other people to follow it as well. So if there isn't a culture of recognition at your company, then how incredible for you to be able to kind of step forward and step up and be the first person that does that. That's really cool and that's really powerful. And of course, these sections of the formula are engineered to get you to think like a leader. So I've put this together in a kind of really kind of thoughtful, curated way to help you to think about how you can kind of show up when you're doing this update. So think, like I said, think carefully about where to post or where to publish or send it. It worked best for me on Slack. There was a group in particular that had all the right stakeholders in it. And then I knew that they had input over my future. Do you have something similar? If you don't, chat to your manager about if or where you could do this, or you could just do an email to some of the right people. But it's really important to make sure that you don't do it too often, because then it will come across like boasting, then it will feel like bragging. And that's not what we're here for. Externally, the whole point of this is to kind of give visibility to team members of what's happening that might affect them and might impact their work, but also internally, obviously, to promote you and the brilliant work you're doing. It just so happens that it feels more like it's doing that external job, and that is what's positioning you like a leader. So feel free to add or remove the headings from this bit as appropriate. It might not always be appropriate for you, but I strongly recommend that you follow this formula if you can. If you want to, I have copies of this I can send to you. So just comment visibility in the chat. If you're watching replay, just drop me an email to tess@lightmeup.club with the subject visibility, and I will get that sent to you. Okay, so visibility, really strategically important when it's done properly to get you visible to the right people for the right work in the right way at the right time. But it's just one thing that we can do. And the magic actually happens when we follow the whole formula, which is what I wanted to talk to you about more today. And I am calling this the promotion pathway formula. And there are 6 parts to this. First up, we set some great foundations. Secondly, we find your zone of genius. Thirdly, we conquer your mindset. Then we look at leadership capabilities, but not the stuff that they teach you at work. Nobody ever taught me this kind of stuff. It was all about like, how to better negotiate and all that sort of stuff. This sort of in this pathway with this formula, we teach you how to actually think like a leader, things like that, how to actually write a strategy, how to think more strategically. I can't tell you how many times in my kind of quite early on in my career when I was told to be more strategic and I was too embarrassed to ask what that actually meant without realizing that the reason nobody was telling me what that meant is because they couldn't really articulate it either. Anyway, then we look at making it happen where there are practical strategies for you to implement, and then we amplify it all. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of these areas now because there is a lot of information. There's a lot that we can cover in each of them. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So setting great foundations. This is all about the fact that we can't show up like a leader in our next level life if we feel like shit on the inside. And I heard this fantastic quote today in Francesca Amber's book, what's it called? Manifest Like a Mother. You may or may not have heard of her. She actually is a podcast host and has the biggest self-development book in the UK. She's absolutely brilliant. And she said in her book today, your self-worth is your net worth. And your self-worth is all about how you show up. It's all about how you look after yourself. It's all about prioritizing you and your physical health so that you can feel good on the inside and so that you can show up. And when we go deeper into this particular part of the promotion pathway, we actually complete a physical health scorecard, which has got 7 different areas. And we look at, I have created expert advice to help you improve these areas. Next up, we find your zone of genius. And this is to help you get clarity because your zone of genius is that fantastic bit of the Venn diagram where it's in the middle of what's important, who you are, what you love, what you're good at, and also what's important to you and how you want to work. So first up, if you want to know what your zone of genius is, then if you're watching the replay, you might want to pause this. If you're watching live, you might want to make some notes, just have a think about this afterwards, because this is really, really important. So your zone of genius is all about what you're good at and what you love. And it's the things that you're good at is basically kind of your natural strengths, what people come to you for, what your experience is, what your knowledge is in the workplace. But then it's also combined with what you love. So these are things like your favorite bits of your past jobs or what you excel at in your current job. But it's also, there's a few more layers to add to this. It's things like what you also love to read or to watch on Netflix or to listen to or to do in general, what lights you up. Then there's probably kind of 1 or 2 things that come to mind that you really enjoy doing that make you feel really good. Oh, hang on, someone in the chat. Oh, wait a minute, has it gone? There it is. Having to pop out, do my best to get back in. That's all right, my love. So why is this important? This is important because this is where we start to collect signals for what you're interested in and what you're good at. And this is where you will naturally thrive. So when I did this, I actually totally redesigned my job from where I was to actually where I wanted to get to. And what I didn't realize in doing this is that because I excelled naturally and I thrived in this new space that I had redesigned, which was around my zone of genius, suddenly I was recognized without having to try really hard, without having to kind of force it. It didn't feel like a battle. It felt easy. Everything flowed. It felt really, really good. So this is where you will naturally thrive. That's why this is important. Then we look at conquering your mindset. And this is where we identify and remove limiting beliefs with my 5-step framework that empowers you to find the answers. We also look at shifting our paradigm, but we're not going to talk about that because there's already quite a lot to cover, but that is something else that we do cover. So if you're not sure what your limiting beliefs are, then there might be some common beliefs that you have about getting promoted at work. And it might be something like, I can't get promoted because I don't have the confidence, I don't know the right people, I don't know what I need to do, I don't know whatever the answer is, all this kind of thing. So if this is the case, a limiting belief starts with the phrase, I can't do something or get something or whatever because of X. That is a limiting belief. So when we talk about conquering our mindset, this is where we look at bringing in a growth mindset, where we start to see problems as challenges that can be overcome. And we reframe that into a question. So how can I get a promotion? And this totally shifts the locus of control and it brings it back to you and it makes us feel autonomous again. So then we start to actually answer that question. Okay, how can I get a promotion? So who can I speak to? When can I do these things? Where can I do these things? What do I need to do? Where are those things? And where can I look? And how can I actually do this? And then that makes it feel like it's back within our control again. And then we go through a few more steps of the formula. And that makes it feel like it's possible. And this is really, really empowering. And this is where things really start to shift because things that felt really impossible before suddenly feel like they're possible because we've gone through the motions, because we've done this process. Okay, leadership capabilities. This is how to think, things like how to think like a leader. So I talked a little bit about this up front. It's about identifying and solving problems. You don't need to be the one that actually solves the problem. All you need to know is who can help you solve the problem. And then all you need to do is bring the people together collectively, perhaps into a workshop or something, to then solve the problem. They also focus on things like the 4 R's, like I mentioned earlier. So revenue, retention, risk, and reputation. These are absolutely key to leaders. This is pretty much everything that they care about. They're focusing on the top level things. They're not thinking about the detail down here. They take steps back and they actually take the time to prioritize time in their diaries to think like a leader. Side note, if you want to hack this today, I highly recommend that you just put an hour in your diary every week, at least 1 hour for uninterrupted time for you to just do some thinking. And you protect that like your life depends on it. So that is one of the biggest things you could do. And then when you have that time, when it comes to that time, think about problems that are in your area, in your business, in your department, what's going on. You might want to do a SWOT analysis. You might want to do a pestle analysis. This is thinking about wider things that are happening. So pestle is an acronym for, oh, this is testing me, isn't it? Political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and legal things. So all the things that are happening that might affect you and your business, your department, what's happening, your industry, all this kind of thing. This is what leaders are thinking about. This is how they're thinking. So try to think more like that. Try to make the space to do it. Okay. Next up, we look at making it happen. Now, this is a really, really important part of the formula and of the pathway because this is where we start to actually see changes that you can make today. Oh, hang on. Let's just let somebody back in. This is where we can start to make the changes that we can really, really feel. So the visibility formula that we did in the visibility sprint last week is one of the biggest things that we do in this area. So this, like I said, is where we show up for the right word to the right people at the right time in the right way. It's also where we look at creating advocates out of your manager. And it's also where we do things like holding your manager to account. So if, for example, your manager has given you really vague feedback or responded to something that you've done without any kind of clarity, then it is up to you to ask them to clarify exactly what they mean by that thing. So I've had this before where I've had, actually, the example I gave earlier was a really good one. So somebody told me that I need to be more strategic if I want to kind of get ahead in what I'm doing. And I thought I was the idiot for not really understanding what that meant. But actually, what I should have done is one of these things here, like, please, can you clarify exactly what you mean when you say to be more strategic? Because there's going to be, in a lot of companies and a lot of businesses, there's um there's often a sort of criteria that you need to meet when you want to get up to the next level. So if I'm kind of wanting to get up to the next level, and one of the capabilities that I need to show is that I'm thinking like a leader, or I'm thinking strategically, or whatever it is that that means, then it's up to me to actually find out what that is and what that means and what I need to know, and therefore what I need to do. So holding my manager to account is actually one of the best ways that I can do that. So, like I said, if they give you vague feedback or respond to something without any kind of clarity, then you need to say to them, please, can you provide more details of X? Or I'd love to discuss such and such further with you. Please, can you tell me more about it? Or please, can we talk more about it? Or, please, can you confirm when I did that thing, what you think I should have done instead? It's up to us to hold them to account. And that can be quite confronting, actually, because it means that we are the problem. But that's a whole other side, which is why we look at mindset as well. It's why we do mindset before this as well. And then lastly, in the formula, we amplify the hell out of it all with a little sprinkle of magic. So this is where we leverage the laws of the universe to work for us rather than against us. And one of the best examples of this is something like the law of attraction. So whether we believe in the law of attraction or not, um, I'd actually challenge you, anyone that says they don't believe in the law of attraction, because I speak to a lot of people that are um, that say that they're not very spiritual, but they also believe that when they have a bad day, that like bad things continue to happen, and that is also an example of the law of attraction in action, essentially. If you think, if you get up and you burn the toast and everything goes wrong in your morning, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm just having one of those days. And then lo and behold, more bad stuff happens. That is also called the law of attraction. It's just happening in a negative way. So if we want to use it to work for us rather than against us, then we can do so by watching our language. So think about right now how you talk to your mates about your job, or how you talk to your partner or your family or your friends or even your colleagues about your job or your boss or whatever. Think about how you talk about them, what language you use. So do you complain about your job? Do you speak about it or the people or the environment positively, or do you speak negatively? Because if you don't talk about things positively, if you talk about them with using really negative language, then chances are you're going to attract more negativity into your environment, because that is what the law of attraction dictates. Okay, so what I've just shown you there is a kind of whistle stop tour and a kind of scratching of the surface of some of the amazing stuff that we cover in the promotion pathway. And what I want to talk to you about as well is the leadership accelerator. So if any of the stuff that we've talked about either today or during the visibility sprint or both has resonated with you, and if you're at a place where you're gunning for a promotion for the end of the year, you're, waiting for that pay rise, this is what is going to help you to get there. And it's called the promotion pathway, which is the formula that I've created, and it's on the leadership accelerator. So the Leadership Accelerator is an online learning platform dedicated to building the next generation of heart-centered, spiritually curious leaders who love what they do. What the hell does that mean? Well, it means it's not your average leadership accelerator. So first up, it's heart-centered. So it starts with you. This is why the Zone of Genius piece is so important, because it's all about who you are. Other accelerators, other training, other kind of corporate learning that you do, it totally ignores who you are. This also blends the spiritually curious. So I leverage the compound effect of strategy, of science, of spiritual principles, and that little sprinkle of magic to help you step up and attract your next opportunity. On top of this, I will tell you what your manager won't tell you. This is what they don't teach you in work. All the stuff that I was talking about holding your manager to account, how to be visible, how to have difficult conversations with your manager, how to create advocates out of them. They don't teach you this in the workplace. And actually, what's really sad is that quite often you will find when you're in these workplaces, people have figured this out. They figure some of this stuff out, but they actively don't tell the people they work with because they want to get ahead of them, which is really sad. But there we go. It happens. And then I've condensed down basically everything I've learned over the last nearly 2 decades in the corporate world into this potent and powerful formula to help you position yourself for a pay rise or a promotion at work by the end of the year. And it's called the promotion pathway. And it is a 6 week sprint that we're starting on Monday, the 20th of October. So each week we cover one of the modules from the 6 step formula. I will be there every single step of the way. I'm going to hold your hand from day one to day, what, 6 sevens are 42, to day 42 at the end of the sprint. I'm going to keep you accountable on WhatsApp. You can learn in your own time. And each module is just 15 minutes and it has an audio only option as well if you want it. So, my promise for you with the Leadership Accelerator is that it's going to be accessible, it's going to be achievable, it's going to be affordable. And through this, I will also keep you accountable. We also have live check-ins every week if you want them, and more if you sign up within a certain period of time as well. So yes, if you've, we're all busy, right? If you've got to walk the dog or pick up the children from school or whatever, you can put on a module while you're driving to pick up the kids or whatever. I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible because I know how potent and powerful it is. And I also know that in certain phases and stages of life, let's be honest, we get to the end of the day, everyone's been fed, they've had a bath and they're in bed, you included. And the last thing that we want to do is think about redesigning our working life because we don't love it and we don't have the energy for it. So let me do that for you. Let me help you do that. And the reason it's called the Leadership Accelerator is because while we think we want a promotion and or a pay rise, I certainly did. What I didn't realize that I needed to do was to step into leadership. I needed to start thinking like a leader and to become the leader that I wanted to be mentally, physically, energetically, all of it. This is what gets you recognized as ready for a promotion because you show them that you're already there. And that's the formula that we need to follow. So why should you care about this? Why should you care about the promotion pathway? Why should you care about the Leadership Accelerator? Fast forward to your end of year review. So it's actually not very far away. We're already mid-October and it's probably going to happen in the next couple of months or potentially within the next 6 weeks while we're doing this course. So fast forward to your end of year review. You've stepped into a leadership mindset. You're thriving. The work feels good, and so do you, importantly. You've been visible for most of the quarter, excusing the first bit. You've been visible for in the first couple of weeks. For most of the quarter, you're showing up as a leader who is thinking strategically rather than getting lost in all the detail and all the doing. You're making time for thinking so that you can identify and solve the problems, which means that your ideas land differently. They're sharper, they're bolder, they're better. And your voice carries weight in the room. And importantly, you hold it with calm, confident authority. Your manager knows your worth because you've been proving it through action, not explanation. You've stepped up, you can feel it, and they've noticed it. And thanks to this absolutely banging end of year with review and the 6 step formula that you've been following, your pay and your title finally manage your impact. It's clear recognition for the value that you bring every day. This is what the promotion pathway helps you to create. It's the clarity, the courage, and the confidence to step up to be seen, valued, recognized, and rewarded for the work that you're doing. So, who is it for? It's for anyone who wants a pay rise or a promotion and feels frustrated that they are overlooked and underpaid for the value that they're currently delivering. Maybe you're working all hours, but you're not getting the recognition you deserve. Maybe you're looking to progress at work and you don't know how and you don't know what needs to be done. Stop guessing what it is you need to do. I'm telling you from my nearly 2 decades of experience, this is the formula that you need to follow, and this is what will get you recognized. So, if you come onto the program, if you come onto the Leadership Accelerator, to the promotion pathway, you get full access to the Leadership Accelerator. You get me as your partner and guiding you through the promotion pathway. I will be your coach, your mentor, your accountability partner, your best mate, your biggest cheerleader, and I'll give you a kick up the arse if you need it. That is what I'm here for. There's also a WhatsApp group to keep you accountable. It's not going to be full of everybody's messages unless you want it to be, unless you want the community one. It's just going to be me. I'm going to jump in on a Monday to see how you're doing, to tell us what you need to do this week. And I'm going to check in on a Friday to see what's been happening. And if you haven't done stuff, there's no shame in that, but you might just want to get curious about why you haven't done it. We're going to have weekly live calls. And there's also, like I said, accessible learning modules. Each one is just 15 minutes long and it's available on audio only. So, like I said, if you want to listen when you're doing the school run or walking the dog. Also, I am so confident that this 6 week sprint will show you how to show up and how to be seen if you do the work. But if you complete the program and you don't feel a noticeable difference in your confidence and your visibility or your influence at work, you will also receive a free 60-minute progression diagnostic session with me. So that's where we'll have a look at kind of um, what's holding you back, where you are, what you think's going wrong, and basically I will help you design a clear strategy to work around it so that you can continue to move forward. This is my way of ensuring that A, it's risk-free for you because I know how important, I know how powerful this is, but B, you don't just learn about leadership, you experience the growth side of it as well. But that's not it, my friends. There are also bonuses for anyone who signs up in the first 24 hours. You'll get a free 60-minute one-to-one with me to be used when you like, but hopefully, ideally, obviously, during the 6 weeks that the program is running. And that is worth £222. For 8 lucky people that will be drawn out of a hat, they will be joining me for brunch on Saturday, the 13th of December at an exclusive London location. And yes, it is bougie AF. And yes, they are the pictures of it just there. And you also will get free access to the Leadership Accelerator for 12 months. So you could get a free 60-minute one-to-one with me if you sign up within 24 hours, a bougie brunch, access to all the content on the Leadership Accelerator. And if you're not happy with me, you get another one-to-one towards the end of the program, which is worth over £700. And the investment is just £299. Like I said, this is a 6 week sprint to position you with the best chances possible for you to get a promotion or a pay rise at the end of the year, which importantly could be worth thousands to you. The average promotion, depending on many factors, obviously, but generally, according to Glassdoor, when I was doing my homework, so from depending if you're like a lower manager or kind of going up to a senior manager, it's between 5% and 25% of your current salary. So think about what that is. That could be multiple thousands that this is worth, and that this is worth to you. And the investment is just £299. And this is the last time that this investment will be so low for a group program. So if you want to know more, comment more in the chat and I'll share the link with you. Email me, tess@lightmeup.club, and or drop me a message. To tess@lightmeup.club. If you're not sure and you want to chat about it, also drop me an email. And there is also a VIP option available where you can also email me, tess@lightmeup.club, with the subject VIP. Also, scan the QR code to find out more information if you want to know more. Okay, so prize giving. Replay heroes, comment the word prize on this video. If you're watching, this will be on YouTube, so comment the word prize in the comment section. And If it doesn't let you do that, so I think I think I'm right in saying if you haven't got a YouTube account or whatever, then it doesn't let you comment on stuff. I can't remember. So if it doesn't let you do that, then just drop me an email, tess@lightmeup.club by Friday, the 17th of October, even with the word prize. And um, and yes, you will be in with a chance of winning a prize. But I am thrilled to say that the prize of the winner of bingo, which was in the visibility sprint last week, is Louise Macker, I think her name was, surname was. Thank you so much, Louise. Your prize is a one-to-one with me, which is worth £222. Um, so yes, that is all yours. I will drop you an email about that. Second prize goes to Hannah, and she gets a beautiful moleskin notebook. And a third prize goes to Laura, and she gets a copy of Start With Why, Simon Sinek's brilliant, brilliant book. So thank you to everybody that played bingo. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you saw the benefit of it. I really, really do. And judging by the comments and things, I think and hope you really did. And lastly, a prize for joining live goes to Cyril. Thank you so much, Cyril, for being here. You get also a moleskin notebook. So thank you so, so much for being here. Right. That is it for today. Like I said, if you want to know more, then comment more in the chat and I'll share you the link if you're watching live. Otherwise, drop me an email, tess@lightmeup.club. You can comment with the subject more or subject chat if you want to have a conversation about it. If you're watching the replay, scan the QR code and yeah, then you can learn more from there. Or also drop me an email, tess@lightmeup.club. But I guess all that's left to say is thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. If you're not already, do drop me a follow on and connect with me on LinkedIn. And like I said, if you've got any questions, then just drop me a message to tess@lightmeup.club. Where are we? How do I? Oh, let's stop sharing. Okay, Brill. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll see you next time. Take care.